We're back again, Metal Summoners. You know that this is exactly the place that you need to be. We've been running all over M3, talking with all the best bands and all of our friends, all of our family. As always, you have tuned in. We've got Angel Alamo. We've got Bobby Dreyer.
Yeah.
Love you, Psycho Steve. We appreciate you, bro.
Love you,
and
bro.
Ron, Empire Extreme, thank you so much for helping us out, working our cameras and everything like that. I'm Jay, but that's enough about us. The intros are over. We've got Ron. We've got little Ceasar in the house. All right, man. Well, first and foremost, man, you played. You kicked off the day today.
Yes,
Sunday, 4th of July. How was the crowd? How was the stage? How was the feel?
It was great. It's so good to be back out there making music. Everybody's so grateful and excited to be back out there, from the fans to the bands and all the crews, and it's just fucking great to spread the wings again and get that energy going. So it was a great way to start the day. You know, I gotta wake them up. It's gonna be a long day. Someone's gotta fucking wake them up. So we did it, and it was just a great event, and we had a blast.
Absolutely, man, for sure. So talk a little bit about your guys' downtime during the musical, the year that music was erased from history, kind of, because you guys had to stay active. So talk a little bit about what you guys did.
Yeah, you know, we had to get the whole family COVID protocol going with testing and, you know, get back in the room. And we did a couple of live streams, which was a lot of fun. It's kind of cold and disconnected, but it got us through. And, yeah, we're just, you know, getting back in the saddle. We're heading off to Europe for a whole month, rolling the dice, everything's cool there. But, yeah, we just, you know, Lauren got COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he was asymptomatic, so that was good. That was fun because he was the guy that was, you know, trying to be the guy. Hey, man, you gotta be responsible. And he fucking comes down. I got it from someone at work. He works at Black Star. So, yeah, it's like a big fucking blur this last year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now that we're coming out of it, it's like some weird dream, you know?
It really is, for sure.
I'm glad it's coming to an end.
No, definitely. And one of the questions that we were also asking a lot of the bands when it came to the COVID situation, how do you guys feel it worked for you guys as a band? I mean, you've been together now for a while, and, you know, your communication and everything, I can imagine, is definitely top-notch. But since you guys really couldn't spend that normal band time together, whether it be rehearsing or hanging or traveling, how do you feel that your communication and stuff was as a band? Do you think it was just solid and everything was cool, or do you think maybe you strengthened it?
Yeah, no, I think it was actually a positive thing because we're all looking out for each other and just kind of bouncing all this shit off of each other and talking, hey, what do you think's going to happen here? And then when Lauren came down with COVID, of course, we were all really, you know, hey, man, how you doing? Is everything cool? What's your family doing? I think, you know, it's really weird because this thing is, it's been a lot of polarizing going on a lot of levels, and I think the pandemic did that as well, because some people are pro-vaccines, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But with us in this whole thing, I think it made us, you know, more mature and more connected because there's some serious shit going on.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we've got such a long history, you know, it's 3 original members, and really one guy left like first year out of the box. So we've been a pretty close, you know, closely knit family for quite a long time. So it put perspective on new shit and what's important and what's not, and what to be grateful for, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So it was beneficial to that.
Yeah, for sure, Ron. That's awesome, man, for sure. So we're actually going to bring in Bobby Dreyer because, as you guys have probably seen, he's been shooting all the bands, so he's really been on the move. So I want to bring Bobby.
My lens is big.
Is big. So we want to bring Bobby in quick in case he's got a split.
Yeah, I got to rock and roll. But the really cool thing, and this is how, like, a 6 degree of separation with me, with Little Ceasar. You know, look, my music and everything, being good friends with a gentleman who played on their second album, Mr. Earl Slick. You know, David Bowie fame, John Lennon, Milk and Honey, Double Fantasy. So how did that all come about with the relationship with Earl? How did you guys cultivate that, and how did Earl get involved? And wait, before we jump in, Earl, big shout out, great congratulations to you, new album that just dropped on Friday. So Earl,
Excited, man. It's
very cool you making new music.
coming out.
Good.
Slick's a great guy, incredibly talented guy, incredible writer and player. I sang a couple songs on his solo record years back. But Lauren knew him, and he was in between bands, and we needed a guitar player, and we got together. And he, you know, we all come from the same school of what we're passionate about musically. So he dropped right in, and he just played some really signature killer licks, and, you know, I used to, you know, it would be nice to do a show, and I look over and I'm like, holy shit, I'm fucking in a band with Earl Slick, you know? And it was great, man, because his resume and his musical legacy and discography is just awesome. Man.
And not even that, it's just one hell of a guy too. But you guys, what the heck was the big hit you guys played today?
Fools.
Well, the one that Earl wrote also with you guys.
Rum and Coke?
Rum and Coke.
Yeah.
Which, he co-wrote, all the shit on the second record with us, so it was great to have his blood and sweat and tears and all the music. And just a really talented, great guy, and I was so excited to see on social media that he's got a record coming out. And it's like, it's like you keep going,
Look, I tried, tagging him, guys in the studio up in Brooklyn. It would have been great if you could have shot down here, but
it's like,
man,
good for you, man.
But you guys, it's great. Go check out the back catalog. It's killer stuff. Man, this is music that, is timeless. And it's just rock and roll to make you push that pedal down and get a ticket.
Yeah, speeding ticket. All
right, guys, I got to rock.
Cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely, for sure. Hey, awesome. So, Metal Summoners, hope you guys have been, enjoying so far. We appreciate all the support and all the times that you've been watching, both as we've been live during M3, as well as catching up on it, because we know everybody's busy. We know a lot of people are literally watching bands right now at M3 while we're live, so they don't even know that we're doing it. So again, Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. But the head of the Metal Summoners, Angel Alamo, I think it's time for you.
Yeah, definitely everybody now, like I said, everything's getting in motion. So what's next as far as music and after the European tour?
Yeah, well, now we're starting to talk about new music because, we're getting together going, man, we're getting the itch. So, we're talking about that, but it's a lot of it is getting ready to get on the road. To get the muscle tone back in the voice and the interaction. It's so nice that all this shit's opening up. So we got we're doing a show with Junkyard at the Viper Room. We're really excited about it because we've been long-term friends with them. And I'm getting out and doing some spot runs on the weekends around the Midwest, up in the Northeast. So it's just great, man. I mean, we're so excited this weekend to kick it off. It's just such a great way.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, Angel,
I mean, the crowd reaction today was obviously, people were just happy.
Yeah, you can tell they're grateful to
have the bands. The merchandise table has been selling shirts as well.
Like that.
What's the long-term expectation now after doing the new music and so on?
After this year, there's no expectations because this year taught us that you can't plan for anything. So all we can do is control what we have control of, which is the playing, the writing. We have a studio out at our access, so as soon as we get out and get through this tour, get back in October, there's definitely going to be some new music and recording, so we're excited about that.
Absolutely, for sure, definitely. Well, let's have a little bit of fun real quick, dude. As two people who are heavily tattooed people.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about just kind of you getting in, because, you got your back heavily done, as do I.
Yeah.
And our arms go all the way down to our wrists. Talk a little bit about what was it about the art form that got you involved and then kept you going to decorate the temple?
This is years and years ago. I mean, I'm an old fuck, so I got my first tattoo in '81, and working with this great artist, Bob Roberts, and I just kept going. And it's funny, because I remember, not to sound weird with these stupid stories and, starfucker thing, but my buddy owned a tattoo shop right up on the Sunset Strip. Mm-hmm. So Tommy Lee was in there one night getting a tattoo, and through the tattoos, we're sort of friends, and we always talk about ink shit. It's like, brother, we're the most heavily tattooed. This is 1990. Yeah. We're the most heavily tattooed motherfuckers out here. All these other guys got little things, man. We're going for the whole fucking thing. Now he's got his face done, his neck done. But it's funny because I got it to be rebellious and nonconformist, and now, moms used to grab their kids and take them to the other side of the street, and now they want to come over and show me their ink, and I'm like, no, I wanted to not talk to people like you, it's okay. You know?
No, it's funny because when people would ask me about, you know, my art and stuff like that, the easiest way I've always been able to describe how I got into the business was actually based around the movie Rockstar, if anybody are familiar with that. So I always knew that I was going to end up a member of the community. I didn't know until I really was getting happier looking in the mirror that I was going to continue on. So the description and the story that I would always tell, so for anybody who's ever seen the Mark Wahlberg, Jennifer Aniston Rockstar movie, it opens with a segment where Mark's talking about how about being into Steel Dragon before, you know, joining the band. And he's like, well, I bought every album, I read every interview, I watched every music video. It's pretty much that exact same thing with me. I grew up a fan of all these heavily tattooed bands, the Motley Crues of the world. You know, there were a couple of tattoos on like the Kiss guys. I'm a big Lizzie Borden fan, and then you had like Skid Row and stuff like that. So that was always my kind of thing. I was like, well, let me kind of link it to Rockstar, because that scene in the movie pretty much does perfectly describe my thought process on it. I mean, every magazine and stuff I was reading about my favorite bands, especially with bands like Motley Crue, was all the guys kind of sitting like we are, and it's in every shot.
Dude, that's so cool, I gotta do it.
Yeah, and so that same kind of thing. You know, there was a little bit of rebellion, but not really. I just knew that it connected me in some ways with music.
It gives you the chance to wear your inner self on your outer body.
Yeah, for sure.
Just, you know, you're born with whatever features you have, but tattoos give you the ability to make a visual representation of a statement that you want to make.
Definitely.
And each one of them has a little story, a little piece of your own soul and psyche, and it goes on there. And you know, how people interpret it, it's really, for me, it's not, it's just a statement that I get to make. And the commitment, a big part of that thing is just the commitment. I know this shit's there forever. Yeah. And I'm choosing that. And so there's something about the integrity of that and the commitment of that makes you feel like you're fucking all in, dude. There's no fucking posing going on here.
No, for sure. Do you have a worse spot? For me, it was my sternum by far.
You know, lower back.
Lower back.
It's weird, they tattoo there and you feel it up in your shoulder because it hits nerves and it's fucking weird. So around the sides, rib cage, you know, in the ditch, you know.
Totally, absolutely.
They call it. Elbows weird, it's like they're taking a fork and pulling your skin off. And, you know, but again, it's a rite of passage. You know, there's something about the pain that, again, with the commitment and sort of the spiritual energy behind that commitment and pain, says that you're earning something and that you're willing to feel something negative for something that you really believe in. And so it's a really cool thing.
Definitely, for sure. Angel, let's kick it over to you, brother.
Okay, just going to go to our good friend, our brother, Psycho Steve, who could not make it.
We got some fan questions.
Hey, Steve.
We got some of the fan questions. And again, just to keep up with the spirit of what we do on Wednesdays, we're still taking fan questions here. Our brother, Psycho Steve, wants to know, I'm going to get to your question, Steve. How did the name came from?
Well, it's funny because this is one of those, you know, where life turns you into a joke. I picked the name because of the old Edward G. Robinson movie. It's one of the first gangster movies ever made. And I thought the Ceasar big was the little is small, kind of, it's, you know, you're big and bold, but there's also a humility in there, you know. And the record company never told us, because we're in LA, there's a fucking national pizza chain with the fucking name.
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Ron and I were talking about it, and we just casually talked about that. I'm like, well,
who the fuck would pick a pizza? We didn't know. So we're in LA, and literally a week or two before the record came out, the artwork is already done. The record company goes, yeah, I don't think we're going to have much problem with the pizza chain. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, well, dude, like, especially back on the East Coast, there's this huge pizza chain. I'm like, you're just fucking telling us now? Let's Domino's? We changed it to Domino's? How about fucking Subway?
I was actually on your guys' side. I thought you beat the pizza chain, to be honest.
I don't know. They got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's just one of those things that life kicks you in the nuts and laughs at you. Fuck. That's how that came about. We never fucking knew it was there.
Damn.
So, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to Candy Burton.
Candy?
Okay, well, her and Steve both had the same question.
Why'd you pick that stupid fucking name? Anyway.
Favorite tattoo that you have, and any tattoos that you regret?
I have one tattoo that's really kind of goofy and lame. And it happened when we were all really hammered in England. We had a joke, we had a bet, and I forget what, I remember what the outcome was, but I don't remember what the bet was. That you have to get, somebody could pick your tattoo. And we went to this guy, Dennis Cockle in London, and I fucking lost the bet, and someone picked a banana. I have a fucking banana
You poor
right
guy.
by my fucking dick. And it's peeled. It's a peeled banana. And I fucking had to sit there and get this stupid fucking banana.
Probably an area that hurt like a bitch.
Yeah, that was no fun down there. But at least nobody sees it unless I want to show them. But then, you pull your fucking pants down and it's like, really? You fucking went with a banana, dude? That's so fucking lame. But so I lost a bet. And I was a man of honor. I went and got it. So.
Hey, at least you lived up to your word.
I did, so there's honor in that.
there's honor in that.
Peter, there's honor in that, peppered with hate, though, for the person
Totally.
that did it to you.
Yeah, dude, I thought I had that bet week one. But no, I mean.
Let me see. Okay, cool. That's the questions from them. What artist or album actually really influenced you the most?
Well, I'm a huge Paul Rogers fan. Bad Company, all the Straight Shooter and the Bad Company record. He's just so soulful, and he makes it seem so effortless. And he's got this sort of just smooth swagger about him that I always just, growing up, I just thought he was, because I was also, my family turned me on to a lot of Motown and blues music, and then his Bad Company with this dude that's with this cool fucking band doing this similar kind of singing over rock music, and so that was a big fucking thing. And the swagger of Bon Scott. They didn't take him so seriously. He was a fun guy, and he was just the epitome of the rock star to me,
Absolutely.
So those two guys.
That's really fucking cool. I'm a huge. Oh, one second. I just want to piggyback off what he said because I'm a huge fucking Queen guy.
Yeah,
But
Freddie Mercury.
watching Paul holding his own because of
Yeah,
that
and that's-
swagger
Totally.
and that just respect,
And being
that
himself,
respect that
but
he had already
paying tribute.
earned.
Totally.
But with those dudes behind him,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
So
no
when you
doubt.
said Paul Rogers, I was like, I gotta throw in a little
Yeah.
bit of Queen right quick because I was really blown away.
I was
by
gonna
him
say,
being
I
able
was
to
like, I
handle
don't know
that.
if I even want to watch this. It might be shitty. And I was like, dude, this is really good.
Yeah,
No, I
totally.
mean, they were just that band that was almost kind of like underrated in the 70s. Because you had the Led Zeppelin, you had Queen.
They're not even in the Hall of Fame.
For Bad Company?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I mean, that's a whole nother.
Who the fuck does the Hall of
We
Fame?
don't-
I don't
There's
know.
a lot of bands that are in the
We will run out of
freaking.
battery. We do
Yeah.
not want to go into the rock and roll Hall
whole
of Fame.
other segment of shit flinging.
When we have you on, when we have your official TMS episode,
Yeah,
we will
we
talk
can talk about
we
that.
will rip apart the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because that's bullshit. Anyway,
Okay, Candy, since we didn't answer a question.
What
What's
was
your
it?
favorite tattoo?
they're all like my children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so I
Tattoos and songs.
love them all. They all, it's weird because you kind of get numb to them, and until you pay attention and you think about everything that was going on when you get it and what you were trying to say about it, it strikes the nerve. But yet there's really no favorite that I have.
I was putting on sunscreen either this morning or yesterday
it's
when I was
coming.
turning around my arm, just putting it on at home.
You're like, oh,
I
yeah.
actually remember. I was like, oh, but
No,
that's
dude, I get out of the
right.
shower and I look in the mirror and I'm like, what kind of fucking big ass tiger on my back? That's right. Yeah.
I do that with my leg tattoos. I'm always like, wait, my
You
leg is
forget
that
about it.
tattooed?
Yeah.
Sure. How we still doing there, buddy?
Yeah, we're good.
We got some fan action still?
Yeah, she just reminded me.
Oh, no worries. It's all good, man. Want to kick it back over for a question from yourself before we prepare to put a bow on everything?
Yeah, that was my actual question.
That was cool. Yeah, no worries, absolutely. So talk a little bit about like the early just forming of Little Caesar with their sound. So like you have that just punch. That's one of the things when I was talking to you earlier about how much I like your shirts because you guys have that just fucking punch in the mouth. You just kind of got a gritty, dirty, not sleazy because there is a difference.
it's different.
You've got that just dirty, gritty, grindy sound.
Well, when I put the band together, like I said, growing up being really into blues and soul music. Now we're in LA and all the bands are pop metal bands, hair metal bands, and we look like a bunch of greasy, tattooed, axe murdering biker dudes. So it was a conscious effort to be really in the street. I didn't even own a car for like 12 years. I just drove a motorcycle. And we wanted to be different because it was just, hey, all those guys are doing that. I had a goatee. It's like, I can't look pretty. I just can't. None of us can look pretty. So we might as well.
Metal Summoner ladies, come on.
Yeah, it's like we might as well, pay tribute to all of those greasy fucking dudes out there that are twisting wrenches and riding motorcycles and all that.
The Sailor Jerry.
And
type
yeah,
stuff,
and the same thing we try to do with the music is keep it kind of bluesy and really raw and organic and paying tribute to all of the, everything from, like Paul Rogers, Motown, Eric Clapton, ZZ Top, AC/DC, they're a rhythm and blues based band. And keeping away from the pop and staying more in the soul and the blues stuff. So.
Nice, for sure. So we touched a little bit about you guys now kind of getting the itch and stuff when it comes to new music, and especially coming off a year like 2020 when it really does give you the option to reflect for sure. What could you say at the moment, if anything, that are your immediate plans or wants or desires for Little Caesar? Maybe let's say in the next 3 years.
Well, just to keep making music and getting invited to events like this. I mean, there's no delusions. We had our backstory of the music business side of the nightmare things and not becoming as big so that we could be further up on the bill. We're still selling this door to door, dude. There's no
DIY.
Exactly. And being, not being bitter about that, because I know some bands, we should have been bigger, we should be playing. It's like, listen, I'm just fucking grateful that even if it's two fucking people that come up and say, oh man, that was fucking great, and I never heard you, or then it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, man.
But it's just really, it's all about just gratitude and honesty, and it's like the band still plays really good, and I'm knock on wood, I still sing good because I didn't fuck up my voice, and so you gotta be grateful about that, because I know dudes that are dying, getting cancer, losing their voice, and you put all that into perspective, man. So the plans are just to keep doing it, with sincerity and honesty and credibility. And just keep getting on that fucking hamster wheel,
Absolutely. No, 100%. Well, Ron, we can't appreciate you
Thank you.
enough,
Thank
man,
you,
for
sir.
everything that you do, man.
No,
Absolutely.
really can't.
Definitely
It's
do.
been a real honor, man. Thank
So,
you.
guys,
Pleasure's mine.
Ron, real quick, man, for the fans, where can they find you if they're looking for you guys?
Well, we've got our music up on iTunes. Our music is now getting all re-released. All of our records are getting re-released. So soon, if you would, please go to we don't do this bullshit with fake Facebook friends. We got some bands just do an app and you get 10,000. All our friends are real and sincere, and we respond to you. So if you like us on Facebook, and you'll get notices there when all this music's getting re-released and all the up and coming stuff. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, for just supporting the band and checking us out. We're down to earth, and we're really grateful for all of you.
Re-releases as hard copy stuff too?
Yeah,
Like CDs and stuff?
Yeah, we got
Awesome.
our own label through Warner Brothers Distribution.
Nice,
So
nice.
we're putting everything back out.
Oh, I'm excited because I've long since
you're on
burnt out all
M3,
of my
please continue
I've
to
long
buy
since
shirt.
burnt out my Little Caesar stuff, so I need it all again.
There you go, cool.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, again, Ron, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much. Make sure that you hit them up on Little Caesar and Ron on all of their socials. Make sure that you hit us up. Make sure you're following us on Facebook where you see us go live. Subscribe and hit the notification on YouTube as well, because all of these interviews do go there as well. And we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. For Angel Alamo, for Bobby Dreyer, for the one and only Cycle Steve, I'm Jay. You know where you've been, you know what you love, and you know you're going to come back. As always, you've been watching The Metal Summit.